Hi, this is Shilpa here. So welcome to the Home Request tutorial, and today we're going to look at some of the advanced repertorization techniques. We'll start with combining and crossing. So combining and crossing are really critical features when it comes to repertorization and get the best potential of your data. All right, so let me briefly explain what it is. We'll start with combining. Now, combining is a process where you put in two or more rubrics together and you combine it to form a new large expanded rubric. All right. So what happens is all the remedies in that rubric are combined and considered for your repertorization process. So say you have a rubric R1 and there are remedies A and B in it, and say you have a rubric R2 with remedies B and C. So when you combine them, you get R1 plus R2, which is A, B, and C, which means all the remedies are combined and the common remedies are just taken once, which is B in this case. So where and how do you use it? Why do you need it? So combining is like the core of a generalization process, which is necessary for any form of repertorization. You're looking for big, broad rubrics. You want to, have, if there are multiple similar rubrics, your symptom is scattered into all these little small rubrics. You want to bring it together and create a big, large, broad rubric so that, all the remedies are considered, but you do not overemphasize on one specific common remedies in that. So I want to give you an example, and we're going to do it through a case. So I have a case here of a girl with fever. All right. And so with this fever, she has a few symptoms, and we're looking at the mental symptoms here. She feels she's going to die. She fears ghosts. She sees spirits. Even in her dreams, she, feels she'll die or she's dying or, sees ghosts there. She wants people with her all the time. And then you have a few physicals which are important. So the fever comes up mostly at night. There are red patches on her face, and the girl is mostly thirstless during fever, but the only thing she wants and loves is lemonade. So that's our case. And what we are going to do now is we are going to use the combining feature for the emotional and the mental state during fever. All right. So let's start. I'm going to go into the repertory search here, and we are going to check now for these rubrics. Okay. So the first thing we have here is she feels she will die. So first I'm going to just use one repertory. I'm choosing the complete repertory here, and we're going to look at death. Okay, so what happens in repertory search, as you know, we get all possible rubrics from every possible section here, and we're looking at, the different symptoms for death. All right, so let's check. So you have something called death talks about, which is in a way, in her case, true. So let's look at, let's try and take this symptom here, death talks about. Then, yes, she has some thoughts of death. So this looks like an interesting rubric as well. So we take thoughts of death. Then there are some dreams of death. So I would like to consider that. And there is definitely fear of death. So what I've done here is I have included all possible rubrics what about death that she has. And we basically are looking at all these symptoms with death. So I've also taken, if there is any fear of death during fever, and there is one rubric here, fear of death during fever, so I would like to consider that as well. So you see, all these important aspects about fever and death, which I find is important in her case, and I don't want to miss out on any remedies. I want to make sure that we are all including all this, so I don't miss out on anything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to combine them. So we're going to choose all of them and say combine rubrics, and we're going to make a big rubric about death during fever. Okay, and we say combine. Okay, so look at that. I get a big one, 472 rubrics, remedies, and we have this big one which is for fever. Let's look at the next one, and that is about ghosts. right? So remember, she fears ghosts, she sees spirits, she sometimes dreams of them as well. So let's look at what aspects we have in ghosts. So look at that. So many different options here. Yes, there are dreams of ghosts. So we're going to take this, dreams of ghosts. Then we have fear. Yeah, so this is an important one. We take fear of ghosts. Let's see if there are. I will also take delusion, ghosts, not pursued, but she sees them. So small one, but I'll take it because look, we want to have as much as we can. She sees days, night. She has, evening and night where the fever is. This is interesting during chill. It's not necessary in her case during chill, but I don't want to miss out this remedy if it's important. So I use this as well. So there you have all possible rubrics about ghosts. And so I'm going to combine all of them. Okay, and I'm going to say, so you select all of them, and then there is a combined rubric tab here, and then you name your combined rubric, and I'm going to put ghosts during fever. All right, and I say combine. So there you have another big one, 124 remedies. Not bad because there are so many small ones, and this is great. This is the largest we got here. All right, now this is where I'm going to now so we have two rubrics. I'm going to name this sheet. All right, sheet 1. I'm going to rename it, and I'm going to call it mentals during fever. Okay, and okay, so this is our sheet here. Next, what was the other rubric? What was the other symptom? Wants people with her all the time. So let's look at this. I'm putting in company. Okay, let's look at what are the different themes you get for company. So you get company definitely ameliorates. Yes, I'm putting that. Company desire for. Yes, this is important for us. What else? Despair, discourage, dreams company of. She doesn't really dream of them, so I'll leave that here. Fear company ameliorates. Yeah, I like this. I'm happy with this. We've covered a big ground here. Let's just take them all. And then we create a combined rubric. I'm going to call it company. All right. What's combine? There you go. So this is my fever totality for the mentals. Got it? This is what I mean by combining. So you can see we had so many scattered rubrics. We wanted to make the biggest possible rubric and not miss a single remedy, and that's what we did. We got these big rubrics and we got them combined, and that's how we got this totality done. Now let's move on to what's crossing. So crossing is something where you are basically using two or more rubrics and you cross them and you create a new rubric. Now, what happens in crossing is only the common remedies are taken in these rubrics. Okay, so say rubric 1 has A and B remedies, rubric 2 has B and C. When you cross them, you have only the common remedy B being considered. Now, this is interesting. Where do you need this? One of the best ways and places you need is when you use concomitants. Concomitants are the key to getting peculiars in your case, all right? So you cannot have a totality if you don't have concomitant because they are beautiful. Two or more unrelated symptoms coming together, you want to consider them as a part of your totality. And you want to ensure you only have the common remedies in these rubrics so that the remedies are representing both these symptoms, and you want to eliminate all the rest because you don't want to clutter your repertorization. All right, so let's look at how can we use concomitants and how can we use this in this girl's case. All right, so we're going to use crossing here, and let's use the crossing part in the rest of the totality, which is the physical totality. Rename this and we call it physicals during fever. All right, Perfect. So you have the mentals during fever, which we did before. Now we have the physicals during fever, and we're going to create a new repertorization here. So let's look at the new set of rubrics. So what do we have here? So she has fever mostly at night. All right. So if you look at fever night, let's check in what symptoms you have. So fever night aggravates, you have 259. It's a good big rubric. I don't have any problem. We'll just use it as it is. All right. Fever at night. Let's look at the next symptom, and that is red patches on face. So let's look at red patches. So you have red circumscribed patches on the face, all right, and we're looking for especially during fever. So when I look for redness circumscribed fever during, we have only 23 remedies, which is a small rubric for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to check whether I can cross the two components here. So what are the two components? We're looking at redness circumscribed. So this is a bigger rubric, 87. Let's take this off the face, and then we are going to put fever internal. And then this is another rubric, which is 187, which is a big rubric, okay? Now, these are larger rubrics, and I'm going to cross them. When you cross them, you're going to get the common remedies for fever internal with redness of the face, all right? So we cross them, and we say fever, red face, circumscribed. Cross. And now we get a bigger rubric, which is 60, which is great because we just had 27 rubrics before when we just took that when we were trying to take just the rubric, red circumscribed fever during. Can you see? This is only 23 rubrics, whereas we are getting 60 here. So this is the beauty of crossing, where you can create a much better quality rubric, right? Let's look at the next one. Thirstless but only wants lemonade. Now this is important. So let's look at whether you have lemonade with thirstlessness as your rubric. No, there is no rubric with lemonade, with wanting lemonade but thirstless. So what are we going to do here? We want to cross them, because we want all the remedies which are common for craving for lemonade, but they also have thirstlessness. So we're going to look at these two components. Okay, so let's take thirstless. We'll try and take thirstless during fever. Okay, fever during. We have 167. I want to check thirstless during fever because it's so specific and so peculiar. And we're going to take desire lemonade. Okay, 29. Not bad. So we take this and we're going to cross them. So we cross them so that we get remedies which have thirstlessness as well as desire for lemonade. All right, cross. So we have 17 rubrics here, remedies here, which is great, because otherwise there was no rubric with thirstlessness and desiring lemonades. But now with this process, we do have something that we can create as a rubric. All right. So this is what crossing is all about. Crossing is being able to create new concomitant rubrics. Sometimes those rubrics might be too small, or they might just not be present in your repertories, but now you can create them and have them and represent them as a part of your totality. So hope that makes sense, and hope you continue to use crossing and combining in your patients, because these are great functions that can really take the potential of your repertorization process to the next level. So I look forward to your comments and queries below this, and let's go and get started with the patients this week.